Turn with me, if you would please, this morning to Luke chapter 20. We're going to be looking specifically at verses 17, 18, and 19. While I was watching another sermon, oh darn, I should have caught in before we got out of here. I'll have to use one of the teenagers. Now, are there any of the teenagers that know Humpty Dumpty? Travis, come here. You know Humpty Dumpty? You met him? You've not met Humpty Dumpty? Do you know the verse that goes with Humpty Dumpty? Okay, come on up here. The other teens that know Humpty Dumpty were Morgan, Deanna, Alicia.
I think all of them did.
Do all of you know?
Yes, Allison.
Okay, well, how about just
Spit it out.
boy, it's rough already today, guys. I'm telling you, I've already caught a baby aboard. And I can't get the rest of the words out. Tell us about Humpty Dumpty. How's it go? No. I can see this ain't going to work already. What's the line that goes with Humpty Dumpty?
Come on, Travis.
You know Humpty Dumpty? Sandra!
He knows it. He's just shy.
No, you can do it.
Say hello, Travis. Don't make
Put
me
the
look
mic up there and
bad.
say Humpty Dumpty what? Okay?
Do I need to come help you?
Apparently so.
You better hurry up and
Oh,
talk.
here. Did anybody hear that?
No.
Good. Morgan, come here, huh? I can get away with that.
Say it loud, Morgan.
Say it loud. Put it out there. Let them talk to him.
Humpty Dumpty sat on a wall, Humpty Dumpty had a great fall. All the king's horses and all the king's men couldn't put Humpty Dumpty back
I
together.
should have done this myself.
Yeah.
No, wait a minute. Don't go anywhere. I've got a couple questions for you. What happened to Humpty Dumpty when he fell?
He got broken heart.
He was broken. And who put him back together? Who tried to put him back together?
All the king's men,
And who else?
king's horses.
Did y'all hear her?
The mic's not on. Oh, it is.
Okay. Oh, thank you, I guess. Yeah. Me too. Well, we'll talk after first. Yeah. I was listening to a sermon yesterday anyway, and he brought this out as he thought it was funny. Just in his thought, he's an Asian pastor, and he said that he was talking about things that don't make sense in America, and one of them was the rhymes that we have for little kids, Humpty Dumpty, an egg that was sitting on the wall, and why was there an egg sitting on the wall? Apparently he was there only for the thing that he could fall off, so that horses, the king's horses, would come and put him back together again. Now, if you can picture what that would really look like, there's an egg that has fallen, and he's shattered, and now the king's horses, whoever they are, come first to try to put him back together again, and then the king's men come and try to put him back together again. What we're talking about this morning is falling and being broken, and falling and then being crushed, and the difference. If you turn with me to Luke chapter 20, verse 17, 18, and 19 this morning, please. Jesus is speaking, and he says, "It is written, the stone the builders rejected has become the capstone, the cornerstone, the most important portion of society." That stone there, the capstone. Everyone who falls on that stone will be broken to pieces, but he on whom it falls will be crushed. The teachers of the law and the chief priests looked for a way to arrest him immediately because they knew he had spoken this parable against them, and they were afraid of the people. First thought for you this morning, I want you to understand who Jesus was talking to. He was talking to new converts, amen? No, he was talking to those who had known Christ for a long time. Who was he talking to? To the church. He was talking to the church of his time, and he was looking them in the eye, and he said, you have missed the point. You have rejected that individual. You have rejected the thing that is supposed to be the cornerstone and the important portion of the church. Now, two things happened with this stone. And when I started, I want you to know, I decided at first I wanted to be broken. Because, well, as a little kid, I broke my right arm. And I'm right-handed, and it was unfortunate, and it was a disaster because I failed writing for that 9-week period. But that's a true story, because I had to write with my left hand. The teacher graded me anyway. Not the teachers, just that way. But I broke my right arm. Now, I went several days using it anyway. We didn't realize it was broken right away. It was this kind of thing, and then they set it, and with the help of somebody else, I have used normally my right arm. Now, if I fall and something crushes me, that's total oblivion. Nothing left. There's no hope. You can't be put back together again in human terms. And yet God can take the crushed individual and put us back together. All right, now you're with me. That's where the story is going this morning, is the difference between being broken spiritually and being crushed spiritually. The Lord is close to the brokenhearted, and he saves those who are crushed in spirit. If you look at David, that's from Psalms 34:18. If you look at King David, he was a broken man throughout his reign. There are places where he was just totally, completely broken. And you look at one of the ones that comes to my mind as I put this together, the broken time, is Absalom. It has gone from the kingdom, and David is weeping and weeping. Oh, Absalom, my son. Oh, Absalom, my son. And he was inconsolable. Nobody could help the hurt that was in the soul of David. And David turns to God, and he says that he is close to those who are brokenhearted. The sacrifices, this is what it says in Psalm 51, verse 10 and 17. Create in me a pure heart. Renew my spirit within me. The sacrifices of God are a broken spirit and a contrite heart. O God, you will not despise. There are some things in our lives that need to be broken. Pride. That's a big one. Even when we think we're not being prideful, sometimes there are these things that kick up and we become prideful. And to my shame, I have become prideful and had not thought about it, hadn't put it into that context. It's like people go out the door on Sunday morning and they hug the pastor and pat him on the back and say, hey man, that was dynamic. And I may stand there and go, because I'm not good at taking compliments, yeah, it's all God. But inside I'm going, and what often happens is then a week or two later I come to this place and I'm dry. And I'm reading and I'm praying and I'm reading and I'm praying. And it comes to Sunday morning and I go, God, you better do something. There's people coming and they expect to hear a sermon. And I get up here and I preach this sermon and everybody walks out the door and they go, man, that's the best sermon you have ever preached. And I'm going, oh, didn't have anything to do with it. And here comes this humbling of spirit and there comes this humbling of pride. Brokenness. The mighty Pharaoh set himself against God. How many of us often do that? Our decisions. God says, you should go this way. You should do this. You this. You should act like this. I'm telling you, Wayne, you need to. And I'm looking at God going, hey, I'll go this far. And then I'm going to wait on you. And if you don't do something dynamic, I must be on the wrong path. Now, God didn't say, go and start the thing and then wait till I get there. He said, go and God has to give us a time of correction. Pharaoh set himself against God. Moses gave him all the opportunity, or God gave him opportunity through Moses, to turn around and to soften his heart. And he refused. Leviticus chapter 26:13. God says this, I am the Lord your God, who brought you out of Egypt, so that you could no longer be slaves to the Egyptians. I broke the bars of the yoke and enabled you to walk with heads held high. God punishes those who proudly resist him. My servants will sing out of the joy of their hearts, but you will cry out from an anguish of heart and wail in your brokenness. The United States, well, actually the world in general, is become an interesting thing. If it breaks, what do we do with it?
Throw it away.
Throw it away. Why do we not fix it? Other than the fact that we don't understand it. It's not worth the time. It's broken. So, you have a 4-slice toaster. One slice won't cook anymore. Obviously, you have to get rid of the whole toaster because one portion of it's broken. Amen? I mean, we have to have 4 slices at a time. It just doesn't work any other way. Somebody's short a piece of toast, and then the kid gets mad, and it ruins everybody's day, and you can't have toast with your eggs. And so we throw it out, and we go and buy a movie. My grandma Crack and Grandma Sweely were lived through the Depression, and my mom kept one portion of the things that they always did. I didn't never thought anything about it until my wonderful bride asked about it. But every time you use tin foil, you spread it out on the counter, and you wash it both sides, and you fold it up, and you put it back in the drawer. And then if you never use it again for food, if you never use it again for food, you use it at Christmas time. What do you use it at Christmas time for? What's that? Well, yes, we did that too. Decorate the tree. We take it out, roll it up in little balls, put it on strings, and put it around the tree because we were too poor to buy tinsel. Actually, I think it was more like because Mom and Dad didn't want tinsel around the house with 4 kids. But it was, today it's worthless. You use it once and we look at it and it's like, it's not worth the time to clean. It's not worth the time to spread it out and to fold it up. So we take it and we toss it out. How many of us would be Christians today if God acted like that? Where would we be? Man, you're so broken. I just see God up there on the throne. He's looking at Sweely. Wayne, not the other one. The other one's the worst of Wayne. But Wayne is, he's so broken. And Jesus looks at the Father and says, it's okay. I'll fix it. And God goes, man, no way. Just let him go. He's not worth it. And in today's society, we look at people that we don't understand. We don't put ourselves in their shoes. We just look at them from some place that we're going, man, nothing can fix that. I've only got a couple of heads nodding. Maybe I need to do this again. You all see Gary walking down the street in a pair of Bermuda shorts and slippers, pink fuzzy ones.
knee-high white socks. All right? And maybe he has a shirt on that is like brilliant pink, and it's unbuttoned down to his belly button. Yeah.
Picture of that, I don't see it.
And y'all are going to look at him and think, man, that dude is really broken at some terrible level. And you're going to get as far away from him as we can. I have never, this is one of those ones where I have never preached this. I have passed this by and I've read it and I've never really thought about it. I've never really grabbed a hold of it. What I grab here is that if we fall and end up broken, the capstone, the cornerstone, will make it right. He will fit us back together and mend us. Sometimes there are things that happen that just cannot be fixed. One of the problems we have in this mending thing, of this brokenness of being crushed, is that we try to fix Gary. We give him a different shirt to wear because it's more appropriate. We give him combat boots instead of big fuzzy slippers. Can't I? And skinny jeans. Sorry. I'm on a roll, brother. Just go with me here, all right?
I just don't know what you're doing with the stuff that I throw away.
But it's we, either the church or as individuals, we try to fix other people instead of allowing them to be broken before God.
Right.
I looked at this idea of being crushed, and how many of you know what a fork truck is? Forklift. Got big steel forks that stick out front. I was using one of those one day, and I was going too fast, and I hit a bump, and one of the forks come up and came off of the fork truck. Now I had steel-toe boots on, and which once you know that up front, I was being safe. I picked up the fork, which was very heavy, and I thought I had it in the right place to let it drop back down in place. And I dropped it, and guess what? It missed the slot. And my right toe became very quickly all swollen and purple, etc., etc. And I went to the doctor, a foot doctor, and she just said, what did you do to that toe? It is shattered. It's crushed. I cannot move the knuckles of my right toe because there was nothing left there. But yet she mended it well enough that I can walk like a normal individual. You know, you don't have a little, I don't have a limp. Nobody else knows this problem there. It's just something in my past that got all glued back together. And it functions. Sometimes, when it comes to us personally, broken isn't enough for God to get a hold of us. Sometimes He has to allow us to go to a dark, dark place where only He can put us back together.
Amen.
And see, I could have, with my broken arm, Mom could have put it in a sling and done every bit as good as the doctor's cast that was in a sling. But only the great physician, and this doctor was a very good doctor, foot doctor, could take care of that toe. She spent hours in there pulling out bone pieces, melding them back together, ground a little bit off on one heel and stuck it in there, glued it all up in this really nice looking toe. It looks just like anybody else. Well, it looks like my other big toe. See, sometimes things happen in life that just totally devastate us. But God is the great physician. And we can be crushed and totally useless to everybody else in
I remember the most crushing moments of my life is when two great men died. My grandfather, whom I dearly loved, and I can remember sitting in the room, and the doctors came in and they talked with grandma and the kids, my aunts and uncles, and for some reason I was blessed enough I was allowed to be in the room with grandpa and Tom alone. It was really cool, except for now. And what I hear them talking about is they're going to turn off the machines. And if grandpa lives, that's good, and if he dies, he's in heaven. The honesty of the situation is Wayne was not in a place to hear grandpa's in heaven. I was crushed when the family got together in the corner and prayed and said, it's in God's hands. And the doctor walked over and turned switches. It was, how dare you? How could you? Then I remember when Dad died. He was just an incredible individual. He was really my father-in-law, but he was my dad. And I thought I would never recover from you. And yet, God. And yet, God. It does not matter what the situation is, or how deeply you think you are crushed, or how useless you think you are, or how bad the past has been, or even if where you're at right now, how deep. You could look at yourself and say, I'm broken, I'm useless, I'm worthless, I'm not just broken, I'm shattered. You say, but God, the cornerstone, the great physician, can put you back together in a way that is perfect. Or Humpty Dumpty fell off the wall, and if you glued Humpty Dumpty back together, you'd see all the cracks. You'd see all the imperfections. If God puts us back together again, there's no imperfections. Scripture this morning says, everyone who falls on a stone will be broken to pieces, and on whom it falls, they will be crushed. But God, the cornerstone, will make it right again. Will my praise team come with me this morning as we go to prayer? Stand with me as we pray as well. Lord, we realize that when we see someone broken, our first instinct is to fix it, or to fix them. Our first instinct is to be the hero. We just have something in us that wants to make it right. Father God, this morning as we have talked about